Welcome to the DIY Honda Garage channel. This presentation addresses Diagnostic Trouble Code DTC U0127, which indicates a loss of communication between the gauge control module and the tire pressure monitoring system TPMS control unit. This DTC typically arises when there is a disruption in the message transmitted between these integral components. The gauge control module is responsible for displaying vital vehicle information on the dashboard, including speed, fuel level, and tire pressures, while the TPMS control unit monitors tire inflation levels. Both units connect through a network known as the Controller Area Network, CAN. Hence, effective communication between them is critical for proper operation. This guide will systematically take you through identifying and resolving the issues associated with DTC U0127. The error described by DTC U0127 signifies that the gauge control module has lost communication with the TPMS control unit. This loss of communication could affect the vehicle's ability to accurately report tire pressure and other vital data. The gauge control module is located on the dashboard, while the TPMS control unit is typically found within the vehicle's interior or accessible from the wheel wells, depending on the model. Both components must work in unison to ensure safety and function accurately. If the gauge control module cannot receive data from the TPMS, it would impact visual alerts for tire pressure and contribute to potential safety hazards, such as driving on underinflated tires. Several factors could lead to DTC U0127 being triggered. Firstly, loose or corroded electrical connections between the gauge control module and the TPMS control unit can cause intermittent communication failures. Additionally, if fuse B40, which is a 7.5 ampere fuse located in the under-dash fuse relay box, is blown, it will impede the circuit's functionality, leading to this DTC. Open or high-resistance wires between these components present another common issue that can sever communication pathways. A defective TPMS control unit itself may fail to transmit data correctly, while issues within the gauge control module can also manifest as this fault code. Each potential cause should be examined systematically during diagnostics. Drivers experiencing DTC U0127 may notice several concerning symptoms. A common indicator is the illumination of specific warning lights on the dashboard, particularly those related to tire pressure. Moreover, the vehicle may display inaccurate tire pressure readings, which can mislead the driver regarding tire health and pose safety risks. In certain cases, the whole instrument cluster may malfunction, failing to display essential information accurately, which could lead to driver confusion. These symptoms can further exacerbate driving conditions if timely repairs are not conducted, reinforcing the need for prompt diagnosis and resolution of the underlying issues. The first step in troubleshooting DTC U0127 involves using the Honda Diagnostic System, HDS, to clear any existing DTCs. This initial reset can sometimes resolve temporary faults. Once cleared, turn the ignition switch to the lock position before switching it back to the on position marked 2. After initiating this power cycle, it's essential to wait at least 6 seconds for the vehicle's internal systems to properly reset. Following this, check for any DTCs again to determine if U0127 or other codes reappear. If no codes are present, it may indicate an intermittent failure, suggesting the system is currently functioning correctly, though you should still inspect connections for any looseness or poor connectivity. The second step requires checking fuse B40, a 7.5 amp fuse located within the under-dash fuse relay box. It is crucial to ensure this fuse is functioning correctly. A blown fuse will interrupt the circuit and lead to communication issues between the modules. If the fuse is intact, the troubleshooting process should continue to the next steps. However, if the fuse is blown, it must be replaced, and it's essential to ascertain why it has failed. Repeatedly blowing fuses may indicate a short to ground within the circuit for the B40 fuse. Therefore, a thorough inspection of the wiring and connections should follow any fuse replacement. In this third step, you'll focus on performing an open wire check for the TPMS control unit. Begin by turning the ignition switch to the lock position, and then disconnect the TPMS control unit's 20P connector. With the connector detached, measure the voltage between test points 1 and 2 at the connector. In this test point 1 corresponds to the blue wire on pin number 1, while test point 2 is connected to the body ground. The condition should show battery voltage. If present, it reveals that power is reaching the TPMS control unit. In case there's a lack of voltage, the next step is to identify and repair any compromised wiring or high-resistance issues that may be affecting the circuit. Step 4 involves checking the open wire for the IG1 meter. Ensure the ignition switch is turned to the on position marked 2. Again, disconnect the TPMS control unit's 20P connector to take accurate measurements. Measure the voltage between test points 1 and 2, where test point 1 is the BRN brown wire located on pin number 3, and test point 2 remains grounded. The measurement reading should demonstrate battery voltage. If this is confirmed, it indicates the circuit is intact. Conversely, if there is no voltage, you will need to seek out and repair any open or high-resistance issues within the wiring to restore the integrity of the signal path. The fifth troubleshooting step focuses on verifying the continuity of the ground wire associated with the TPMS control unit. Start by turning the ignition switch to the lock position before disconnecting the TPMS control unit's 20P connector for safety. Measure continuity between test points 1 and 2. Here, test point 1 corresponds to pin number 8, black, for the ground wire, while test point 2 connects to body ground. If continuity exists, the ground wire is functioning correctly, and you can proceed to further troubleshoot other components. If failed, the ground wire may have an open or high-resistance issue, requiring immediate repair and possibly a close inspection of ground point G501. The final troubleshooting step involves assessing the communication along the FCAN lines between the TPMS control unit and the gauge control module. After turning the ignition switch to the lock position, disconnect both the TPMS control unit's 20P connector and the gauge control module's 32P connector. Check continuity between test points. For FCAN-H, use pin number 9, WHT from the TPMS connector, and pin number 19, WHT from the gauge connector. Similarly, for FCAN-L, use pin number 20, red on both connectors. If continuity is confirmed on both lines, the gauge control module likely needs replacing. If not, it indicates an open or poor connection in the wires, requiring a thorough inspection of the FCAN connections to troubleshoot the fault effectively. After conducting all necessary repairs for DTC U0127, it's critical to confirm that the DTCs have been cleared successfully using the Honda Diagnostic System, HDS. Following this, proceed with a test drive of the vehicle to ensure the repairs have corroborated effective communication between the gauge control module and the TPMS control unit. During the test drive, pay attention to any warning lights on the dashboard related to tire pressure or other issues. Additionally, verify the accuracy of tire pressure readings to ensure that the system's full functionality has been restored. This verification step is imperative to guarantee that no residual issues persist. Preventive maintenance plays a pivotal role in avoiding repeat occurrences of DTC U0127 in the future. Regular inspections of the electrical connections related to the gauge control module and TPMS control unit will help ensure that all connections remain tight and free from corrosion or dirt. It's advisable to routinely check the integrity of fuse B40, as a blown fuse can signify underlying issues that may need addressing. Taking these preventative measures, alongside timely diagnostics and repairs, will help maintain reliable communication between important components and contribute to overall vehicle safety. In conclusion, DTC U0127 poses significant concerns regarding the communication between essential components in the Honda Civic models from 2011 to 2015. Understanding the error's implications, such as the potential safety risks posed by incorrect tire pressure readings, is crucial for any technician. The importance of following a systematic troubleshooting approach cannot be overstated. Each step requires diligence and accuracy in diagnosis. Lastly, implementing preventive maintenance practices will not only suffice in sidestepping future incidents, but also contribute to the vehicle's reliability and longevity. To keep the vehicle safe and functional, committed attention to detail is indispensable for technicians and drivers alike. Please like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.